Hello and welcome. My name is Deana, and this is the Daily Dharma with Impressive Warrior. Thank you so much for joining us. We're starting off with a few cards that were pre-laid out. In the pre-shuffle, we had a few cards, well, one card in particular pop out, Prosperity, from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. Prosperity, number 36, equating to a 9, an ending of a cycle, and the prosperity is like the wheel of fortune. Prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebrates in celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. Followed by 37, realization. Notice 36, 37, a sequence. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. And 43, transition. The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. So these three in particular, I feel the realization of the being in the present and recognizing the abundance that surrounds us, and this about face energetically that is really honoring that point of arrival. I feel the changing of a chapter. So with transition, I feel that something has been concluded. 36 is a 9, as we've said, and then followed by the 10. The 37 is realization, that tower moment. And in this case, with prosperity, it sure feels like a pinnacle moment, some type of moment of inclusion, or a moment of success, a moment of status or recognition. That's the word we're trying to get here out of me. And transition is like a turning point after this moment of recognition that we have what it takes, and that it's the I want to say harvest, but it's like a harvest moment. And so under the deck, I had several clear piles in the shift of the cards underneath, and so I separated them out. So I have those three, 1, 2, 3 across the top, prosperity, realization, and transition. And then down the side, we had belief, number 11. Oh, it's trust me, it says belief, number 11. Let's see if we can get this with the other hand. There we go. Perception. That's 35, which is in sequence with 36, 37. And then the next one was a very small pile, so I sort of exploded the mini deck. There's only 4 here in this pile. It was headed out by Earth, 24, talking about the third dimensional material concerns and thought processes, things that are already evidenced in our world. Empowerment, synergy, and then Gaia. And this is a good deck. The chances of having Earth and Gaia in one pile. I don't know what the statisticians would say about that, but to me it seems quite uh, symbolic of the flow, working with the flow, the empowerment of our energy by working with the third dimension in a new way, and by recognizing the difference of the matrix overlayment and then sensing Gaia underneath this. I'm hearing in the moment, it's like the third dimension is this patriarchy, which isn't the divine masculine, it's the materialized masculine achievement orientation. Materialization is godly, and Gaia is all about implications, intentions, and flow state, and receiving by allowing. And with synergy here, the difference here is interesting. And so I also wanted to call out the first two cards we had in these stacks. We had 11, belief, and 35, perception, which started out our little sequence of cards. So what I wanted to talk about here is the differentiation between belief and perception. So belief is a core structure belief system that has been embedded in our energetic field, let's say, in some way, shape, or form. And for many people, this can be many different ways. It can be a belief in scarcity with prosperity on the board here. It can be a belief in a self-limiting belief that we're breaking through with this realization and transition moment. And perceptions, to differentiate from belief, perception is the way that we interpret our surrounding environment. So our perception isn't always based in truth. It's based in our core belief system. And so what we believe to be evidence becomes what we give our attention to with perception, then reinforces or contradicts the belief structures that we hold. So with prosperity and realization and transition, we're breaking through some type of either self-limiting belief or some type of previous restricted energy with activating our prosperity in the real world. And so we'll get some clarifier cards on here in a second. And then with this big explosion here, we have Earth Empowerment, Synergy, and Gaia. It's as though we've been locked into these core beliefs that have been nurtured and evidenced into our lives, and then reinforcing different perceptions. We've been led down a specific pathway, for better or worse. You know, everybody gives their attention in a certain way. And then here it's this ability to perhaps push through what we believe we're seeing to empower our potential to activate that prosperity aspect in our own lives here. And the last stack underneath was Tantric Journey. You can tell I moved my table. It's number 42, Tantric Journey. It's not all about the physical aspect of intimacy, as many of us know already. The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So I feel in this case, take it as you must. Many of us are being activated by those moments of intimacy with our people that are surrounding us, good people, bad people, triggering people, or supportive cast members in our narrative. But there are many aspects at play that are helping us to make this realization, to help us to transition our belief structure, to step into a whole new way of being here. And so with tantric journey there, I feel this is, whether it's through your internal processes with yourself, or through different experiences that you're having with, it could even be therapy, some type of realization process of your own power by working with how things are in the present tense, in flow, rather than resisting and controlling, allowing things to go at their own pace, I feel, is what's coming in here. And let's go ahead and take some clarifying energies here with the shamanic deck blended. Mystical Shaman blended with the Shaman's Dream Oracle. And let's take some cards to clarify the belief line that we have here. Just going to get a really good shuffle here. Number 11, beliefs. What are our beliefs about prosperity that we're recognizing and transitioning through? Okay, this is an interesting combination. The rainbow with soul retrieval. 1211 I saw just right there. Check those two energies out there. So the rainbow card, I'll deviate from the maker's interpretation here and just say that I see this as somebody who's flying through life with their own dynamic appeal, I want to say. In the pre-shuffle, I saw that dynamic card come out with some family dynamics, somebody who's coming through and becoming their own individual. And with the rainbow, it's a chakra journey, I want to say. We have tantric journey here. So tantric journey is something that's very soulful and very primal. And to activate the primal self, you probably would never find somebody who's lived, let's say, an entitled life, for instance. The tantric journey is somebody who has had to walk through their fair share of messy emotions and to activate their own inner alchemy. And so the rainbow, to me, is like all of those chakra centers having left, it's like leaving light in our path, like the prism. Okay, I'm getting these images as I go. So you see when the sunlight hits a prism, then it will split the light and reflect and refract, and then shoot out some rainbows at random angles. The same with like those cut glass windows or doors. And some of us, whether other people can perceive of these colors or not, when these individuals, ourselves most likely, or somebody in our that's showing up in our reading for us, has been through these different experiences and has really been moving through as fast as they can. I'm seeing a lot of dynamic speed here, but speed is relative and time is relative, right? And so it's moving as fast as they can to resolve the issues that they came to resolve and to recollect the soul, fragmented soul parts that may have been, I want to say something like left uncaptured from previous lifetimes. A recognition that maybe you've led a bit of a repressed life, and then there's this element of you that understands. There's this moment where you express yourself and you're feeling that empowered flow that comes through, gentle but firm, directed speech, right? I saw the communication and the throat chakra in the pre-shuffle as well. So there's something here with soul retrieval. It's like recognizing our impact and how we've, it's like with that spectrum analogy, we've got, everybody has their own little tweaks, not tweaks, quirks, that's the word. Everybody has their own quirks, causing their own little light anomalies that impact other individuals. And so there's something here about having the capacity through authentication, I believe, to then reclaim the previously judged and disowned parts of self, retrieving the disowned or misjudged soul parts, and claiming that all empowers the spirit, and then seeing how everything flows together here with Earth and Gaia and synergy. It's like understanding why things had to go a certain way, a certain path. Like there was this limitation imposed upon your energy in some type of a way for some type of a need, right, to limit your energy until certain timing was right. And now, or until you were ready to flow with the forces that are, or something, or became aware here of the differentiation between nurtured belief structures and morality, false morality, and social pressures, and then seeking through the perception, the self-perception, experiencing life as it comes is under the deck. So let's see what perception has to tell us. What is perception here? So our beliefs are changing based upon something with the wounding. The timing of our wounding is now being corrected through an awakening process where we're understanding and moving through this transition phase, recognizing the abundance of our timing here. And now perception. Looks like just one on the floor. Falling angels, spiritual narcolepsy. So I wish you guys could see these a little bit better, number 19. Yes, perception with spiritual narcolepsy, under here the fates. And dream thief, refusal of the call, skywriting the fates though. So maybe this was written in the cards for you to have your opportunities to self-soothe or to take your time in awakening. But there's some type of a realization. I feel like this is recognizing a deviation between your beliefs and your perception and breaking through something. Unless, in this case, you're experiencing this encounter with someone who's fallen asleep and you're some type of awakener. But it looks like through some interaction with somebody who probably is in that mindset that you are retrieving more of what was destined to activate your soul awakening than could have possibly become if you hadn't encountered this type of energy. So what's this perception? There's like a skewed perception here. Deep quiet, meditation, and stillness. Feeling a lot of energy here with Saint Germain, perhaps. I don't know if any of you work with angelic energies. We do have falling angel and deep quiet. What was under the deck? Farther gate, bold step forward, and the child was popping out on the split. Child. So, okay, potentially for some of you, this spiritual narcolepsy might be due to having family responsibilities, or from your childhood, perhaps. Probably one or the other, like having some type of challenging early childhood development, or having later in life, or the later in life having the child and then having the responsibilities eclipsing the solo journey, and then, you know, getting into that place of taking care of the third dimensional aspects of life and forgetting the spiritual journey for a while. But I know that that's the joyful muse under here too. I'm seeing that one. So maybe that was all destined as well, because the joyful muse I'm feeling in this moment might be that child. It's like taking time out from what your expectation was for the journey to then play and be playful, whether or not you have a child, to be playful with your creations and your creativity and making things evolve and develop. And this further gate, the bold step forward with the child, is like taking this to the next step. It's somehow revolving around you rebalancing your time, taking the time and decision to take your meditation time and to maybe even create your sanctuary space. So I know I have taken a little bit of time off. If you've been following me so far, I've painted a little bit of the pole barn. I'm moving some of my inventory in. Very soon I'll be one of those businessy people, but for right now I'm still going to flow with these messages. This flew out in the reverse as that, but this is, what's that, 47, the Sky Bridge. Possibility for union. So possibility for union here I'm feeling is like you and your higher self. We already have soul retrieval. There's something activating you very powerfully, waking you up to something further than you knew before. And with prosperity realization transition, I feel like this is reawakening you to your potential. And maybe that's why I was just mentioning the businessy stuff, right? Because it's like as though we've had to take this time out to take care of some business, and now there's this this possibility for union. I don't normally read reversals, but possibility for union is like we're not taking enough time to connect here to that point of meditation and stillness, I feel, for many of us. Now, if you have, then good for you, but if you have been giving proper time to that, I would say that you'd probably have sacrificed a bit of action steps. There's probably one or the other that we've needed to readjust some type of something. If you're doing everything perfect, then hoorah for you. Let us know how you did it. So let's get a couple cards here for Earth, Empowerment, Synergy, and Gaia. This coming into awareness. So on the previous line, let's just see if there's a summary statement we can make. So this perception is like the perception of things getting in our way, that, oh, we can't possibly be spiritual and a parent or a caretaker, a caregiver for others, or we can't possibly get our things done when we have so many things to do. But there's an invitation to, whether you think you have time for it or not, to take that time of silence and listen to the messages that come out, because sometimes the effort is what's blocking the receiving. And so sometimes taking a step back from action shows us the way clearly forward. Card that just popped out was 31. In the hand, the universe is your partner. Exactly. This that's definitely the summary in point. Earth, empowerment, synergy, and Gaia, that awareness of the things that we perceive as our blocks or our limiting factors are actually there to strengthen our resolve, to follow those things that have meaning, and to forego those things that are just sparkly diversions or distractions from what has true luster in the world. And to recognize that if we're out, let's say one person might be wanting 10 exciting things to do a day instead of one with substance, and recognizing that if you've been living your life in one type of a way, and then suddenly the universe is limiting that, it's saying pull in your energy from this direction and focus in the direction of quality over quantity, perhaps, because the universe is limiting something divinely. So if you've been redirected, or some would say rejected, from some type of an opportunity, this may be redirecting you in a way that will help you in the near future. So yes, recognizing how things and why things perhaps didn't work out a specific way in the past. Movement towards adventure. I like that. Anything else for this line quickly? Let's just leave that at that and move to tantric journey. Anything for tantric journey here, number 42. This journey of self-empowerment through reclaiming our self-proclaimed incapacities, reclaiming our power and our decision-making capacity, our intuition and our instinct that tells us which way is the correct way, despite what logic would tell us and evidence would tell us to be afraid of. Tantric journey is this reconnection from having been unplugged in this state of spiritual narcolepsy, slipping back down the slope and reconnecting to ourselves. So with tantric journey, we have number 16, empty well, time to replenish. Yeah, time to set up that sacred space and to continue to do that nesting and that meditation and stillness. Under the deck, we have the beloved, number 2, radical acceptance, and we have skywriting the fates, 49, and I can see this red one here is lost compass, getting back to integrity. I can see also this eyes of the eagle and moon maiden, new beginnings popped out as well. So I'll just kind of give you a little glimpse at these. So this lost compass, new beginnings. It's like breaking through, having fallen down below the surface in some type of a way. Something took our attention away from the path for a moment, and getting back into our integrity, getting back into our hopes and dreams, and making that plan, making a schedule. And maybe this radical acceptance is coming back into that soul retrieval moment and accepting the flow of, like, okay, we can't always go, go, go. Maybe you've accomplished a lot recently, and now it's time to sit with that. Maybe it's time to take that meditation before stepping out. So let's see. Okay, so I like to keep these shorter than or longer than I want, which is always the case. So I love the ambiance of what's going on here. So let's just take a couple of oracle cards and finish this one out. So we'll take a Kali Kuan Yin combined deck. That's too many. I'll take this one though. This one flipped upright. Blessings of the Moon Maiden, number 2. And under the deck over there on the Shaman decks, I have the number 2 up with Beloved Radical Acceptance. And we saw that Moon Maiden card in that deck as well. The Moon Maiden. So, blessings of the Moon Maiden with that, the fertile rabbit in her hand and the blessings emerging from her fingertips. It's like having the golden touch, and we have prosperity out here again, right? I'll just glance at these real quick. Getting back to basics, I'm hearing. Having been through the cycle. Sure, okay, cutting through, making a firm transition. I'm seeing the sign of Pluto here. Amaryllis Blue. Raising our vibration after a time of having to focus on root issues rather than crown issues. So instead of being able to put our full force and empowered energy towards accomplishing our goals, there's been a a reclamation of constriction, of pulling in of energy here in order to conserve for a moment. And then we have the energy of flowing. Universe is our partner in this moment, so take that time to replenish that empty well, to understand. Okay, there's being in charge of your energy field. There's something about that. There's someone here who perhaps has had other people's influence, either from an early age or they have, like, being the empathic sponge always and having everyone else's influence compromise your own wants and needs. There's a need to retreat from other individuals, to reclaim and consider your own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about a certain matter, and to clear your perception of other individuals' influences here, to sit in your own authority and to reinforce your own spiritual protection. Yeah, allowing your own mind to heal itself before perhaps even encountering a change of romantic situation, whether that's escalation in a current romance, or moving into the dating scene, or moving away from we already had the redirection, rejection comment earlier. Whatever you're dealing with, there's this re-encountering this self here, recognizing that the universe is putting us on this path for a very important reason. And with this blessings of the moon maiden, there's a very fertile period where we can reclaim a lot of false perceptions and recognize the abundance that we hold already here. And then there's this possibility for reunion with the self here that's like, it's feeling like this really empowering moment where in the flow with everything, in the radical acceptance of self and with the flow of all that is, we are putting into materialization we're putting our prosperity into the material realm. We're like taking it out from the vortex and putting it into play. But in order to get there, we cannot pass go and collect $200 unless we replenish that well. So I'll take a Tao message to tell us about what is it to replenish the well. I'm not going to take all of it, but maybe those first two then. Okay, number 16. That was one of the cards that popped out also. I can't remember which one. I thought we had it out twice. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. I did have the death card a lot in the pre-shuffle as well. So there's an extreme transition here that's happening. So this is just talking about not worrying about being certain, not forecasting into anxiety and putting yourself, this fragmented individual from what the past mind BS would have lied to you. There's some kind of misunderstanding, a misperception of maybe even like subtext. I saw some meme-ish thing today about subtext, reading false subtext into a conversation and wondering like, oh, what did they think, or what would they say, or did they really mean this instead of that? That's all anxiety, and if somebody didn't say that, liberate yourself from that mental prison, right? If they didn't say it, it didn't happen. Done and done, as my friend would say. And the other card here from the Tao, 34. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. It pours itself into its work, yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds, yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things vanish into it, and it alone endures, it can be called great. It isn't aware of its greatness, thus it is truly great. So that's really powerful, talking about humility, and that everything is part of the unified field. Everything is a part of unity consciousness. We're not separate from the shadow self. We're not separate from the light self. We are our success. We are our accumulated lessons and learning experiences. it's hard to call them failures because everything becomes a stepping stone. Even when we go up and down the emotional spectrum, that brings a lot of clarity and contrast to the experience, where we develop the eyes of source and the eyes of unconditional acceptance and radical self and other acceptance. And it seems here that we're realizing this point of transition where we're surpassing a self-limiting belief and really flowing with the forces that are, to really figure out a way to replenish ourselves in a powerful way and to step into this unity consciousness here. So I'll just, 40. I always do this. I always take more cards. So those were anxious cards. We're not taking those ones. I see the long distance one has popped up. Anything further that we need to know about? Some bonus cards. Seeing scared of commitment popping out here. The universe wants you to stay committed, get out of hermitage for a change. The universe is your partner. It wants you to come out and be discovered. 4114 when I said that. Anything further? Anything? Romantic adventure, okay. And it came over Skybridge, possibility for union. Throat chakra comes out in reverse. And as I went to grab that, we have material concerns, 4141 on the clock. Scarcity, limits, blockage, superficiality, and trophy. So somebody's here trying to justify their material prosperity, maybe feeling a little bit less accomplished than they feel like they should or something, or like they can't afford to come out from working all the time or from being in the home and doing their stuff all the time. There's some kind of misjudgment of misappropriation of energy here going towards material development rather than self-acknowledgement and this meditation and stillness here. So that's what we have for you today. So do take care, and we're back at this. I'm going to try to be here Monday through Friday, and check out those messages if you wish. Especially if you're a Capricorn, apparently. New moon popping out again here. Realign yourself and sow new seeds with the new moon. So, yep. So these are all timeless, but today is the day out of time, preceding the Lion's Gate, and some extremely interesting developments astrologically. From now on, I'm going to separate the astrology stuff from the timeless reads. So I will get that stuff together here coming forward, probably around August 1st, and talking more about the August 8th-ish Lionsgate portal, which is said to by many people to have opened already here. And so moving into it, getting more and more aligned, more and more precise with our energies, and this is bringing many people online with their soul purpose and getting rededicated, realigned with their sacred center, reclaiming all of their power and path and voice to move in that direction. So if that is you, do tell us how you are faring, and best of luck to all of you guys. We'll be back again tomorrow, so take care.